you
Hi,
want to do
this is Russell Wampler, and he is with Wampler Appraisals, and you're in West Virginia or North?
Yes.
West Virginia. And he is in our area in Russell County, and he's doing an appraisal today, and he agreed to let me stop by and say hello to him and meet him. I had never met him before, and just a great person, and he's doing an appraisal here in Russell County. So we wanted to ask him a couple of questions about the appraisal process to help buyers and sellers. And Russell, can you give us a little bit about your background?
Well, I've been appraising real estate since 1990, so this past June made 32 years that I had been doing it.
A long time.
Yeah, a long time. My dad was a building contractor, so I've been around the housing industry the majority of my life. Just seeing houses constructed from the ground up through remodels, but it's just been in my DNA since birth to just always work around housing, real estate, and that's how long I've been doing it, and
Awesome.
I really like it.
Great. Okay. Now, when you go to a home and you get ready to do an appraisal, what steps do you follow? What do you do at the home?
Well, when we go to a house, like say this one here that's in Russell County, what we typically do is we go into the house and we will measure the inside of the house as well as the outside of the house. I use a laser tape to which I measure the rooms and draw out a plan of the house, because the lenders like to be able to see the layout of the house, the size of the rooms. That way they can kind of get an idea of how the house flows.
Right.
And they look for things like any type of functional obsolescence, to where like if you had to go from one bedroom through a bedroom
Right.
in order to get to different rooms. So they want us to draw out a plan to show them what we see. And we also provide them pictures of the inside, and we show them features about the house that might be specific, that are something special, such as granite countertops or stainless steel appliances, or any specific upgrades to
Right.
which they're unfamiliar with what's in it.
Right.
So we try and give them an idea as to what's in the house, since typically the banks never do come to it.
Right. Okay. And what advice do you have for sellers and they want to increase their home appraisal as much as possible? Like, are there certain things that give you a better return of investment than do others?
Well, I always tell people that ask me that to spend the money inside.
Okay.
Typically, if you spend money on kitchens and bathrooms, you get the majority of your money back. I always tell everybody, if they're going to spend money, you can do it outside, but not everybody is an outdoor person.
Okay.
But everybody lives in their home. So the things that you do to the interior typically will add more value to your property than, say, something that might be outside.
Okay. All right. Any other advice for sellers or buyers that you have?
I always tell people as well, look at your neighborhood in which you live, and don't outkick your pump coverage, as they would say. Don't put so much money into a house that you might not be able to recoup it.
Okay.
Look at what your surrounding properties are that are around you. You don't want to be in a $250,000 type house and be surrounded by a lot of properties that are $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, because the appeal and marketability of your home will be less than someone. It doesn't always mean that's the case,
Okay.
but always just look at your neighborhood and try to decide how much money you want to invest in it.
And how do you decide which comp to use? Like, does it have to be like in a certain mileage range, or how do you select the comps mainly?
Well, take for instance this one here in Lebanon. What I will do is I specifically try to search for this end of town to try and find comparables that are like it. We search for similar age, design, square footage, try and look for different aspects about the types of roofs that they may have, be it shingle, metal roof.
Okay.
We look for things about their lot size. And we try, if we can, to stay within the general footprint of a neighborhood. Within, in our area, we try to stay within a mile or two if we can inside the town limits.
Okay.
But sometimes you can't do that and you just have to branch out. But it's better to compare an apple to an apple of a house that's very similar, even if it's in a different area like Cedar Creek or Green Valley, as opposed to just going and get another house that might be nearby, but it's a 10-year-old house compared to one that's, say, 65 or 70 years old.
Do you try to stay in the same decade?
If you can, but a lot of times because our area is a smaller market, you're not going to find 3 or 4 or 5 houses that have all sold within 1 decade.
Right. How many comps do you normally put in one generally?
Well, generally we're required to do 3. I try to do, 4 or 5 sometimes, just to give the lenders or a private individual a better idea of the market by showing them as many as I can.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate
Oh,
your
you're
time.
welcome.